Marty, Brenda, and Jason Stokes all have one thing in common: their love for pottery. While Marty and Brenda were throwing pots long before their son Jason was born, he has always been involved in his family's activities. He went with his parents to pottery classes at Pensacola Junior College and the University of Northwest Florida while they were completing their bachelor degrees of art. In 1980, Marty bought 2 acres of land in Holly, Florida, establishing the home base for Holly Hill Pottery. Since then, the family has created a tremendous business as a result of their innovative and creative pottery designs.
I don't know.
Oh, some funny things happened during in our pottery years too, and especially out in college. We had one instance where Jason was about 18 months old, I guess, and we were out in the university, and I had made this huge sectional bowl and had it resting on the wheel, and I was putting the finishing touches on it.
It was beautiful.
And it was really a nice pot, and the instructor was just standing back looking at it. Jason walked across the floor in his diapers, struts across and steps on the foot pedal to the wheel, and it went off that wheel like a flying saucer right across the
It actually lifted and rose up before it slung apart.
We met with our instructor not long ago, Steve Hayworth, by the way, and was a wonderful instructor, and met with him at an art show last spring, and he mentioned that. He came right out with that,
and nobody's ever
that's
forgotten.
been almost 20 years ago, and it just came to him just like that. But anyway, we had a lot of fun doing all the things that we did, building and doing our pots and just living and enjoying things and seeing Jason develop into a wonderful artist, and it's just been a great life. But somebody asked how we met. I was working on the beach, and Brenda was a lifeguard on the beach, and so we met
job.
there. Yeah.
Well, I surfed. I've surfed all my life. I love to surf, and so it was a perfect job. Working for the county in the summers and going to school in the winter. And he fished a lot and ran a restaurant and lounge on the beach, and that's exactly how we met.
And I played music at night, had a little band, and played music at night. Did our pottery in the daytime, and that's the way we came into being. But anyway, it has worked out wonderfully, and we both have a love for the water, the environmental aspect of the water, and the sea life. Anything that has to do with the sea life has just always been an attraction to all of us, I think, in the family. And we started seeing these things and how we could incorporate that with our art, into our art. And that's the way these things came into being. Our pots, as you'll notice, everything has a nautical effect.
Well, we've evolved a lot over the years. We've evolved from what we used to call seascape pottery. We painted with wax resist and then covered it with several different glazes, and it was beautiful. I wish we had more of it. Every time I see it at a flea market, or I have my mom even look out for it, we're buying the stuff back because we have very little of it, and it was a beautiful, beautiful work. And we evolved out of that because of tendinitis into another type tendinitis of carving, and we carve on everything now, and that's evolved. Just evolved. Some customers in Ocean Springs, Anita Gallagher, in fact, drew us a watercolor of these turtles coming out of a pot, and that's what she wanted. For years she bugged us about doing that. So finally I told her, well, draw a picture. So she did a beautiful watercolor, sent it to us, and we made her the 2 pots, and when she came to pick hers up, the one right next to it, she picked the 2 she wanted, and a lady was waiting to pick that pot up as soon as she decided which one she wanted. And that's where, I guess, the turtle pots were born. We've always put turtles and sea life and things on clay, but it wasn't until then that we put the turtles actually coming out of the pieces. Well, this is the newer stuff we're doing. with all the carving. Jason actually started this. He got ambitious, and it's just evolved into a lot of carving, real ornate pots.
These free-formed bowls are another hot item right now for us. We're really having fun with these. We put the turtles, form these little turtles on here, and make the tracks, and our glazes conform to the, and oxides that we use along with the glazes conform to the nautical effect.
But we actually watch the turtles hatch every year. Jason went to I guess a couple years ago we went. The military does a turtle release at night, and the tracks, I like the way he does these tracks mostly. He's just kind of picked up the way the little fellers look when they leave, and they actually leave neat little designs in the sand. You know, when they all leave together, they leave their own little tracks right on into the water. And I guess that was his interpretation of what they look like when they left. And we've just sort of all, everybody puts their own design in, but we all make the platters together, and then everybody carves their own, kind of.
Our next shows will be in the fall, of course.
It starts with the Pensacola seafood.
Yeah, we start with the Pensacola
Seville
seafood.
Square, and the end of September is Pensacola Seafood Festival. The second show will be the Destin Seafood Festival. That's the first weekend in October. Then we go over to Gulf Shores Shrimp Festival. We just got our acceptance into that. We were sweating that. That'll be the Gulf Shores Shrimp Festival is, I believe, the second weekend in October. The third weekend, Jason will be at the Mullet Festival, the Boggy Bayou Mullet Festival in Niceville. And the last show will be the Ocean Springs Peter Anderson Memorial Arts and Crafts Show. And that's a real big growing show. It's over 200 artists now. Margaret Anderson and the Chamber of Commerce do a great job down there, and it runs all the way to the Walter Anderson Museum. And the museum is open free of charge that day. And it's just an awesome show. It's really gotten large, and they've done a great job. I think the show rates right up there with the Shrimp Festival as far as I'm concerned. It's just a big one. And then
right after this break, you will meet Jason Stokes, who will tell you about the ancient art of making fish prints.